Hi Gemini, welcome to your love reading for January 2019. Let's go ahead and see what is coming up in your love life. This is a love reading for the sign of Gemini for January 2019. The first card you have is the Seven of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Gemini. The Star. Love reading for the sign of Gemini. Six of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for January. Five of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for January. Nine of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for January. Five of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for January. Eight of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for January. Ten of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Gemini for January. And the Ten of Swords. What's the most important thing that Gemini needs to hear about their love life for January 2019? The message that you have, Gemini, is the Magician. So the Magician is about manifesting, making things happen. And just kind of looking at your spread here, I feel like you definitely need to know this because you have a lot of challenging energy. You have two fives here, which means that you're dealing with an obstacle. The Magician is telling you that you have a lot of power this month to change your love life, to change your relationship. So I'll come back to this card in a minute and see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. Let's start at the top. If you'd like a private reading with me, I'll put a link to my website, channelguidance.com, right below the video. Okay, so let's see what you have. You have Seven of Swords, the Star, and the Six of Pentacles. So, I see here you have the Star, which can represent the sign of Aquarius, but this represents what you want, or who you want, your hopes and wishes. And, I feel like you're very close to getting what you deserve because you have the Six of Pentacles here. You're very close to receiving. Maybe some of you are meeting somebody new if you're single. Or you're actually getting what you deserve from the person that you love. It's here. You can get this in the month of January. But there is something going on here with the Seven of Swords. This can be deceit. It can be that someone's not being completely honest. Because like I said, there is very challenging energy around your reading. Let me just go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Look at this next row here. You've got two fives. Five of Pentacles, Five of Wands here. This represents an obstacle for the sign of Gemini, a problem, something that you have to deal with. So here, and I'm going to get a confirmation card for you. This can definitely be, maybe there is some deceit. It's not going to be for everyone, but you do have the Ten of Swords as well, which is a betrayal. You're being deeply hurt. It can be that there's some type of deceit, but it can also be self-deceit. Some of you may really have to look at a relationship to see, is this truly going to work out? Now, you also have the Nine of Wands here. You have the Nine of Wands between the Five of Pentacles and the Five of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is telling you that you need to protect yourself. This is about watching your back, being on guard. Because you have some type of challenging energy around your love life, whether you're single, you're coupled, or you're looking at an ex situation. I do see the sign of Gemini here. I see you being kind of unhappy with the Five of Pentacles. And this is feeling abandoned, not just unhappy, but feeling abandoned. And it's kind of lonely. Even if you're already coupled, this can be that you're feeling disconnected from the person that you love. Maybe you're afraid of losing them here. Or some of you, there can be deceit going on. But I feel like if there is, that's something that you already know about. It's not anything that I'm going to tell you and you didn't know. But it can also be self-deceit. Maybe there's something you don't want to see about the relationship. Maybe that you're very different. You have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands just means that somebody is feeling very conflicted about a relationship. It can be someone also who's holding back from you. Maybe someone who's pushing you away. Maybe someone who wants to be alone. For those of you where you're dealing with that kind of situation, the Five of Wands is someone who is kind of struggling with something, doing battle with themselves. And also be that someone is, just being very on guard and protective, maybe pushing you away. Now let's look at the bottom row. So I will hold them up for you if you can't see them. We've got the Eight of Pentacles, the Ten of Wands, and the Ten of Swords. So here you've got two tens, and the tens do represent endings. Something has gone as far as it can go for the sign of Gemini. So some of you might be thinking, and I do say thinking, that a relationship is going to end. But remember, this was the main energy for you, the Magician. You can change that outcome. You don't have to lose this person. Like, you have it in you to work things out. Maybe you have it in you maybe to apologize. Maybe you feel like this was something you did. For those of you where you don't need to apologize, that's not what this is about. It can be that you have the power to convince the person of what you have together. This is just about manifestation. You have a lot of power in you to change this. You don't have to lose this person. There's something that you can do to avoid losing them. You don't have to lose them, because this is the need to move on. This is like just kind of spirit tapping you on the shoulder saying it's time to go. It's time to move on. You've suffered enough. And some of you may be thinking that because you have the 10 of Wands right next to that. The 10 of Wands is just feeling frustrated, fed up, exhausted, tired of trying. Some of you have tried so hard. There's a lot of work and effort that has been put into a relationship or marriage where you've done everything that you can and you're just tired of trying. Tired of trying is what I see here. And some of you are feeling like, you know, it's maybe I should move on, or maybe this is something that someone is telling you. But it can be, again, that you just need to try. There's something with the Magician where you can manifest a change in the situation. Let me get a few more cards to see what other confirmation comes up for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for January 2018? You've got the Fool, which is a new beginning. Gemini's love life for January. The Six of Cups. Gemini's love life for January. The Strength card. So the Strength card can represent the sign of Leo, but it also means be patient. Like, don't let your ego get the best of you. Don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. Don't get depressed. These are all things that are associated with the 10 of Wands. Just feeling like, you know what, I give up. I give up on this person. I give up. I'm not going to try anymore. I'm just going to move on, which is this message here. The Strength card is saying don't do that. It's saying be strong. Have the courage to keep moving forward because there is a new beginning with the Fool. This is telling you to trust your heart and your intuition. So what is your heart and intuition telling you? Is it telling you to move on? Because it's a general reading. So for some of you, you may be getting that validation that you should move on if that's what you've been thinking. But if you've been thinking, I shouldn't give up on this person, this is also your message. For some of you, this can be with someone from the past because you have the Six of Cups. Maybe an ex, which I am going to do the ex spread next. There's definitely like a new beginning here. Well, there's a new beginning around an ex, or someone from the past, or memories from the past. But for those of you that were you're still coupled or married, the Six of Cups also is a soulmate energy. You're being told here by the Strength card to be brave, have the courage to hang on and keep moving forward. Okay, let's get a few more cards in the confirmation deck, and let's see what else comes up for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini for January 2019? Queen of Swords, that would be you. Queen of Pentacles, an earth sign. And the Hierophant. What's the most important thing that Gemini needs to hear about their love life for January 2019? So the Seven of Cups, this is a lot of confusion. So just know, if you're going through something weird in your love life in the month of January, that this is just a very emotional time for you and the person that you love, a very confusing time. The Seven of Cups means that things are not clear because emotions are running so high. Everyone is just highly emotional, highly confused, and you don't really kind of understand what's really going on. So there can definitely be some deceit going on here, but maybe not in the form of like someone lying to you and cheating on you, but self-deceit, like maybe somebody not wanting to see their actions. It can be you, but it can be also be the person that you love. So we've got your energy here, the Queen of Swords lined up with an earth sign. Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, male or female, sun, moon, or rising. And it can be definitely a Taurus because we have the Hierophant, which also represents the sign of Taurus. So if you're dealing with a Taurus, then this is definitely speaking to you. But the Hierophant also represents kindred spirits and soulmates. A strong spiritual connection, really finding the person that you belong with, that you feel at home with. So if you're single, this can be that maybe you're meeting an earth sign in the month of January. If you're already coupled, even if that person is not an earth sign, it's just telling you that there is a strong sense of where you belong in the month of January. And if you belong with the person that you're with, then you're really going to feel that. You're really going to feel like we can work this out, because there's something here that's kind of saying that someone has kind of reached the end of their rope. They feel like giving up. They feel like they've done enough, with the Eight of Pentacles right next to it. But I just feel like it doesn't have to end. Like there is something that you can do with the Magician being the main energy here. There's something you can create. You can manifest a new beginning for a relationship that is really troubled, you know, where maybe there's self-deceit, there's an obstacle here. You've got the Five of Wands and the Five of Pentacles. Someone's just tired of trying, exhausted, fed up, and someone is feeling maybe the need to move on. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the X spread. Okay, Gemini, let's go ahead and see what is going on between you and your ex in the month of January. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. I think I may have said 2019 in the first reading. Oops, because we're still in December right now. Okay, we've got the Knight of Cups. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. 7 of Cups. So you did have this card in the first spread. Gemini and their ex, January 2020. Got interesting, the King of Pentacles, because you did have the Queen in the first spread. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. The Sun. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. The Ace of Wands. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. Interesting, the 7 of Swords again. What's coming up for Gemini and their ex for January 2020? 10 of Cups. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. Interesting. Strong earth sign energy. King and Queen of Pentacles. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. And the 3 of Pentacles. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's start at the top. Knight of Cups, 7 of Cups, Knight of Pentacles. Like I said, you did have the Queen of Pentacles in the first spread. I think it came up in the confirmation deck, and it was with your energy. So if your ex is an earth sign, then this is definitely telling you this reading is for you. Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Male or female, sun, moon, or rising. If you have a moon or rising and an earth sign, this could also be you. As far as what I see between you and your ex for January, I mean, you've got the Knight of Cups. So this is your relationship continuing to grow. Your relationship continuing to move forward. I just feel like there's something very confusing between you and your ex. And this card also came up for you in the first spread. So there is something very confusing, like there's something that you're not seeing. It could also be that your ex is just highly confused about how they feel about you, or do they want to come back. There's just very emotional energy, but I feel like the relationship could continue to move forward. There could be a proposal to get back together. You may not be clear as far as, you know, can you forgive your ex, or do you truly want them back? Now look at this next row. You've got the Sun, the Ace of Wands, and the 7 of Swords. And again, you had this card in the first spread. So I mean, this can be deceit or self-deceit. In fact, here it is. It was one of the first few cards that came up for you, and here it is again. It can definitely be self-deceit. For those of you maybe where you broke up and had nothing to do with another person, there was no cheating, because sometimes this is someone who is two-faced, someone who is sneaky, and who just, you know, does things behind your back. If there was nothing like that, if that's not the reason that you broke up, it can be that this person maybe is refusing to see the truth. This is someone who is their own worst enemy, someone who's in denial. And it could definitely be the reason with the 7 of Cups here, because this is someone who's just highly confused, emotional, and lost, because there is a new beginning here. You have the Ace of Wands right in the center of the reading. This is a new opportunity for your relationship. This is a clean slate. You're able to start over from scratch. And then you have the Sun right next to it, which is love, positive energy, success. There's a lot of positive energy around a new beginning with your ex, but there's this strong message of like deceit or self-deceit, and someone being highly, highly confused about moving forward, which would be the Knight of Cups. Okay, so in the bottom row, we have the 10 of Cups, the Queen of Pentacles, and the 3 of Pentacles. So there is, you know, a lot of happiness here still for you and your ex. There can still be a happily ever after. There's also the card of marriage, children. There's a very happy and satisfying relationship. And again, strong earth sign energy for the sign of Gemini. King and Queen of Pentacles. And I said Taurus, I think, because you had the Hierophant in the first spread, which also can be an earth sign. So again, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. You just have that strong energy. King and Queen of Pentacles here. You also have the 3 of Pentacles. I feel like if you want to reunite with your ex, because I do see that here with the 10 of Cups, I mean, there has to be a lot of work and effort that is put in here. That's why the 3 of Pentacles has popped up for you. You have to work together. You both have to try. If someone is in denial here with 7 of Swords 2 times, and it may not work, you both have to be on the same page. But there is a lot of positive energy as far as a reunion in January. Just know that there could be some major self-deceit going on with your ex, and they could be highly confused about a new beginning with you. Okay, let me get a few more. Let's see what else comes up for you. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. 7 of Wands. Gemini and their ex for January 2020. 9 of Wands, which I think you also had this card in the first spread. Let's see here. And the Queen of Cups, which would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. Male or female, sun, or rising. Can also just be someone who's in a very emotional place. If there is no water in your chart or your ex's chart, Again, someone who's just very much, maybe very emotional, or someone who's very much in touch with their emotions and their intuition. So you also have 2 sevens here. Let's see. I mean, you've got the 7 of Cups and the 7 of Swords. The sevens represent choices and change. There could be a choice as far as you and your ex reuniting. I mean, we've got the 7 of Wands here. The 7 of Wands is the need to really speak up for yourself and stand your ground. Be firm, maybe with the person that you're reuniting with. Because I feel like someone is highly confused here. It could be you, or it could be your ex that you're trying to reunite with. And there's a general reading, so it's hard to say who is who. This is just someone that needs to like be firm. Because there is fear here with the 9 of Wands. There is fear of maybe getting lost in this relationship again. There's a fear of maybe being hurt. The 9 of Wands is just being very paranoid, on guard, and just because you don't want to be hurt. And again, this can be with a water sign, with the Queen of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, male or female, Sun, Moon, or Rising. It can also be just, again, it's someone who is highly emotional, because we do have that 7 of Cups there, which is a very emotional energy. So this could be something that's going on between you and your ex. But I do see that maybe someone also has to, you know, kind of speak up or stand their ground as far as their own fears of moving forward, which we see here with the 7 of Cups. Someone who's just very emotional and lost. Okay, let's get a few more from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Gemini about their ex for January 2020? Interesting. 10 of Wands again, because you had this in the first spread. Gemini and their ex for January. 9 of Swords and the Strength card. So you also had the Strength card in the first spread, which can be the sign of Leo, but it's also, I mean, having to be brave. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of fear here with the 9 of Swords. That's what I was telling you with the 9 of Wands over here on the other side. Your ex could be afraid maybe of being hurt again, or it could be you. Again, this is someone who's paranoid, very paranoid and protective of themselves. And this is a lot of worrying, a lot of anxiety. And there is this energy of, you know, feeling very frustrated with the 10 of Wands. Like feeling like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I feel like there's a chance of getting back together with your ex in the month of January. Because we see that right here in the center of the reading. But I feel like you'd have to be really patient with the Strength card. And also this message that someone is very kind of iffy when it comes to reuniting because of the 10 of Wands. Someone feels like, I don't know if I can do this again. Maybe there was something very difficult about your relationship. There's someone who feels like giving up because there's a huge burden or heaviness around your relationship. And there is a lot of fear with the 9 of Swords, the Nightmare card. A lot of anxiety, maybe about trying again. Everyone would have to be very brave here with the Strength card, because you do have that message here with the 3 of Pentacles, which is you and your ex together, both having the courage to try again. I feel like if you want to find your way back to each other, you can do that. Because you got the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Wands. You got the Sun in the first spread. Actually, here it is in this spread. But there's a need to be brave. I mean, you have the Strength card now 2 times. Again, there's just someone is highly confused as far as, do I want Gemini back? And there could be some self-deceit with the 7 of Swords. Let me get a confirmation card for the 7 of Swords, because you've had it twice now. Let me get a confirmation from this deck right here. What confirmation is there for Gemini about their ex, about the 7 of Swords? Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is self-deceit, because the Emperor, I mean, this is like taking charge, taking control, stability. That is not the 7 of Swords. This is the need to like really take charge of a situation and face it and create stability, taking back your power. I feel like someone is giving too much power to their own fears, where they actually are becoming their own worst enemy here with the 7 of Swords. And then we see that again over here with the 9 of Swords. A lot of worrying around the sign of Gemini, like worrying about reuniting with you, or trusting you, or trying again. Again, there's someone who's very lost here with the 7 of Cups. The 10 of Wands also has been a repeat card, so let me get a confirmation card for that. What confirmation is there for the sign of Gemini for the 10 of Wands? What does this represent for them and for their ex? Temperance. So temperance does represent healing, compassion, also taking things slow. So if there has been a lot of kind of painful energy around you and your ex, they may be kind of saying, I don't know if I can heal this. I don't know if I can try again. Again, temperance is kind of letting things happen naturally. It could be that there's too much fear as far as them allowing that to happen. So we see fear here, and we also see it over here with the 9 of Wands. Someone who's just very paranoid and protective. But I definitely see if you go back and you watch the first spread, which still applies to you because this is still your reading, there was this message. The main energy for you was the Magician. You have a lot of power over the situation with you and your ex, more than you know. You can manifest a new beginning, which we see here. Just know that you're dealing with a lot of confusing energy, and someone maybe that is not exactly being their best friend. They're being their own worst enemy. They have to take back their power. They got to take control. And more importantly, you have to work together to make this happen with the Three of Pentacles. But I definitely feel there can be a new beginning. You have a lot of positive energy for the month of January as far as making this work again. Just know there's a lot of confusion around your relationship. Okay, Gemini, this has been your reading for January 2020. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.